A while back, somebody asked me, what are the stereotypes of AI or LLM-based language output in the Japanese context? And I actually didn't know. But fortunately for me, a Japanese slang term has popped up that answers this question, and that is chappie構文, or chappie syntax. If you haven't watched all of my videos, first pause, go and do that. But for a quick review, chappie is a usually affectionate term used to refer to ChatGPT, but also sometimes just like language learning models in general, AI in general. And構文is a term that literally means syntax, but has been adopted by the Japanese internet for some time now to refer to ways of speaking that can be imitated. Some of these are just like meme templates, but others refer to a variety of features which come together. So chappie構文then is a collection of features associated with LLM outputted Japanese. Similar to, for instance, the discussions about how M dashes, to my chagrin as someone who loves to use M dashes, are combined with other features to give kind of the vibe of AI model generated text in English, to the extent that the creator of ChatGPT had to like say that they removed them, which is great. I think it's awesome that billions and billions of dollars are being put into something which doesn't even do what you tell it to do until they try multiple times. And this, of course, combines with phrases like, that's not X, it's Y, or more problematically, biases towards gender stereotypes or socially dominant groups. But what about the Japanese context? Let's look at some examples of key features that are listed as common to chappie構文, which, like LLM-based writing in English, is often seen as unpleasant to read and annoying. Although keep in mind, though, that chappie構文itself usually refers to people parodying this, which some people can like, as you can see here. And what you can also see here is one of the key phrases, I'd say the most key phrase associated with chappie構文with LLM text in Japanese, which is stating結論から言うと, or starting with the conclusion. Indeed, this is such a stereotype-like starting phrase for LLM output in Japanese that you can make a joke about it and get hundreds of thousands of likes. We can also see three other features of chappie構文in this interaction, though, one of which is the それはめっちゃ正解, or that is really correct, which mirrors the complementary sycophantic sort of style that's associated with LLMs in English as well. The pointing finger emoji for some reason, which I don't think is seen in the English context. And then これ実は, or this is something, and then they go on to it, as in actually this is or whatever, is mentioned quite a bit. Here's a pretty funny example where somebody uses it and changes it from seikai to daifu seikai, and then also introduces another major feature of chappie構文, which is listing bullet points, which here that I also have flaws and that I cannot love the original form. You don't find that amusing? It's clearly a reference to the song Daifu Seikai by the band Back Number from 2019. At least 55,000 people know that, why don't you? Indeed, if you look up descriptions where people like go into long detail on what they think chappie構文looks like, this use of bullet points, specifically bullet points that don't really connect to one another or add nothing, as this person you're looking at is phrasing it, being key examples of that. Indeed, in this interaction, I love it when I can get a full interaction as data. You can see somebody listing off reasons why they love dog-type boyfriends, which is a whole nother thing we could talk about, but I understand that everyone here has limited attention spans. And just from that alone, the first reply accuses the person of using LLMs to produce the text. The original poster says that's not true, and then somebody responds with another kind of text, which then the original poster says looks like LLM-generated text or chappie構文. What makes that last bit chappie構文-ish? Well, I'm not actually sure, but one thing might be kind of inappropriate register or like an inappropriate form of Japanese, because this is something also that comes up a lot in discussions of what LLM Japanese looks like. That is, if you're speaking politely, they'll speak plainly, or if you're speaking plainly, they'll speak politely, or speak in a plain style, which is just not the same kind of plain style, either too casual, too comfortable, a bit too nare-nare-shi, like something that you would say to someone you're close to, but you don't want a robot to say to you, even a casual robot. As a potential, like I can't prove this, but I think a potential example of this in action, look at this interaction. That's right, we get two full interactions in this video where somebody posts a sentence in the des mas form, and then the first reply is in casual form, using the finger emoji we discussed earlier and clearly trying to be an example of chappie構文. And this does get a response from the original poster that, hey, you're writing like an LLM, aren't you? And everyone has a little bit of a laugh. In a kind of opposite example, we can see this post here, which went viral with almost 30,000 likes, where somebody talks about how their boyfriend appears to be unable to state their own opinions, but instead uses ChatGPT to like get their opinions told to them. And the reason that they can tell this is that the person is normally, in their words, someone who only uses phrases that are out, like not appropriate for a shakaijin, or like a person that has like a real job, a productive member of society. But when they have to assert something all of a sudden they switch to quote unquote fluent Japanese. So again, the register doesn't match the kind of interaction or indeed the identity of the person that's using the device. This is of course emphasized by that aforementioned sycophantic element. Chappie, etc. are associated with telling you what you want to hear, especially via phrases like you can see in this post, such as, your odd feeling is 100% correct, or your viewpoint really gets to the heart of the problem. And then for some reason, LLM discourse in Japan is also very much associated with like the use of 2 asterisks. And we can see all this together in a really fantastic example of chappie構文in the viral tweet that you're looking at, over 100,000 likes. So again, Japanese people found this very funny. But here a boyfriend is thanking their girlfriend for buying them a present by sending a thank you message as though it was written by ChatGPT. And in it, you got the dot dots, you got the finger arrows, you got the bullet points. You've got 2 things that I actually haven't had a chance to mention, which are generic paragraph starters such as mazu or tsumari. So first off and in summation. And also you can even see a weird balance between polite and plain form in the same interactions, as some sentences end with des and some sentences end with nothing, which of course it can happen in Japanese, but generally you don't jump between these within like a single message, especially not a message to your romantic partner, wherein something like the plain form could in theory sound a bit distant. And here's another 100,000 plus people like example where somebody encounters a daichu. If you're not familiar with chu, I've talked about it in this video, but a daichu is basically somebody who goes to places where people are not looking for relationships and tries to find relationships. And this daichu is trying to present themselves as somebody who likes music and is chatting with this girl about music, then starts saying that they're gonna ask them something weird, which is gonna be, we all know what it's gonna be. To which the person replies with a very amusing example of chappie構文, where they tell the person off as if an LLM is telling them off. And again, we can see asterisks, we can see fingers, we can see bullet points, we can see kore jitsu wa. Of course, in this case, it's this thing is actually very gross. It starts with the conclusion, and then it ends with a funny revert to human speech as they say, never contact me again. And indeed, people do like using chappie構文just to kind of have fun online, oddly turning fake human language into the inspiration for real human language, as in this person here who uses it to compliment their oshi, who is a racing oshi, which we've never had on this channel. That's nice. As is the conclusion that they start from, that this person is very cool. And showing this kind of continued weird productivity loop where humans create data that AI uses to create data that humans don't like, so they make things that humans do like by parodying it. There have been songs made about it. And even some line stickers, which seem to have been removed from the store, but you can see we start with, from the conclusion, that's amazingly correct. And we also see compliments like, you're so smart for thinking that, your feelings aren't wrong. Can I speak honestly? I don't think that's a flaw, I think that's a weapon. You're so great for being able to put that feeling into words, and it's honestly incredible that you're able to think this deeply about it, among others. So all in all, yes, chappie構文does show that Japanese people are just as frustrated with bland AI-generated text as many of us are, and they also have their own stereotypes about it, as well as stereotypes about, AI-generated art or other things, etc., as you can see in this person here critiquing a menu design. The term in that quote you can see there, AI kusai, or smells of AI, is also used quite a bit to refer to anything that is AI-ish, but in the written form, chappie syntax is the term that is used to refer to, again, actually the human act of people parodying the AI parodies of human acts. So speaking directly from the conclusion, avoid using these kind of phrases if you want to be thought of as a human, someone who comes up with their own language acts, and someone who has put time and thought into their writing output and therefore deserves to request time and thought from the person reading your writing output.